Hello guys and welcome back to another class of our course about the complete introduction to Photoshop. So in the past few classes we talked about some features of layers, and in this class we are still going to talk about this topic. And basically what I want to cover today will be linking groups, so basically different ways that you guys can work with groups. So we talked about layers, now we're going to talk about different ways that you can work with groups. And finally, merging layers. So basically how you can take all the layers, put them all together and create only one picture. And we are also going to talk about is it really worth it to do or no. So let's start. All right, so basically for the purpose of this course, what we will do, we are going to have some pictures. So basically here you can see I have a few pictures. And what I will do is that I will put all those pictures inside of one group. So basically, let's say I will select three. Well, first of all, I will unlink all of those pictures. All right, so they're not linked. So what I will do, I will take a few of those pictures and put them inside of groups. So basically I have one group here. So I will create a group like always, group from layers. I'll call it group 1. I'll do the same thing right here with the 4 remaining layers. And I will create a group that I will call group number 2. All right, so basically you have your groups right here. What your groups allow you to do is basically, well, plenty of things. But one of those, it allows you to work with just layers or groups. So what you can see right here is that you have this little tab there where you have group or layer. So basically if I select layer, I can move each layer one by one. So basically I can move the layer one by one. But if I, for example, select group, what will happen is that I will move the whole group at once. So basically here I can, for example, move the whole group number 2 at once. And here the group number 1, and here the whole group number 2 at once. Here the whole group number 1, here the whole group number 2. It works pretty much the same way as if I link the layers together. And as you can see, it's pretty cool this way. So basically, this is a good thing that I can do if I have groups. Also, what I can do is I can take my group, so I can take my group right here and literally put it inside of group 1. So basically group 1 will become group 2. So basically I can merge two groups together. And basically if I want to move group 1, what's gonna happen is that I will move all the layers together. So basically having groups or putting groups together is actually a great way for you guys to work, well, to control your workspace, because what you can do is that, for example, you can have one group for, let's say, for example, you have a picture that you're working on. You can have one group for each part of the picture, and then you can link all the groups together in only one group. And basically, well, if you want to take a certain part of the picture, you can simply unmerge all the groups at once, or see all the groups at once. So basically, as you can see here, I can take out all the group and bring back all the group. I can do the same thing for the group number 2 that is inside of group number 1, which is pretty cool. As I said, if I want to delete groups, what I can do is that I can simply click on delete group or click on ungroup layers, and this is exactly what's gonna happen. All right, next thing that we are going to talk about today will be merging layers. So basically, merging layers, what is exactly the concept of merging layers? It's pretty simple. It's basically the concept of putting layers together. So basically you take two layers and you create only one object with those two layers. So let's say, for example, we have two layers right here. So how we can create, create only, move them at once? It's pretty simple. We can, for example, link those layers. So let's say we select the two layers right here. So we have linked those layers, and it's like, it looks like it's the same layer, but it's not the same layer. It's two separate layers together. You can, for example, move them as one. Once again, if you select layers or layer right here, you can put them inside of one group, and once again move the whole group. It will look like it's one layer or only one object, but once again it's two objects. But if you want to put those two layers inside of one object and create only one layer with them, what you need to do is you need to merge them together. So we will unlink those layers, and what we'll do, we'll simply merge them. So here you have merge layers. So simply click on this. So right now what happened is that we have one and only one object right here. So basically those two layers became only one. So basically we have one layer. If I delete this layer, I will delete the two of them. So basically, as you can see here, I only have one layer, which is pretty cool in my opinion. The problem with this is that, for example, if you want to add modifications to, well, if you want to add modifications to only one layer, it's gonna be hard to do because once again you have merged two layers together. As you can see right now, it's pretty simple. It's just two pictures together. But let's say, for example, it's a huge amount of pictures that you just have merged together to create only one layer. You'll see it's pretty complicated to work with. Another thing with putting two layers together is that, for example, if you decide to make them bigger, it's not gonna be a smart object like those layers are right here. So basically it will lose its resolution. So you need to be sure of what you're doing. When exactly can this work? So basically merging two layers together, when exactly this can work? Two or more than two layers together. Let's say, for example, you have finished your project and you want to export your project, and you want to have, or you just want to have a copy of the project. You can merge all the layers together and you will have one final copy of the project, for example, once again, but you need to be sure at 100% that everything is perfect. But once again, I personally don't suggest to merge layers. First of all, because it's not, it's not worth it, but you have many of other ways to work with layers without necessarily merging them and achieve the same results. So basically I can have two layers right here. For example, the two layers are right there. I can put it one next to the other and I will have the same result. So basically this is pretty much the same thing. Working with those right here or working with those layers right here is pretty much the same thing. But I have full control on the layers right here. I can unmerge them, I can move them. Those one right here, they're pretty much one object, so I can do nothing with them. So in my opinion, you should not necessarily, there are some moments when you can merge your layers, but in my opinion, it's not really worth it. You can work without necessarily having to merge your layers. So I hope you guys learned a little bit more. So as I said at the beginning of the course, linking groups. So this is the first part that we talked about. So basically we talked about groups and the advantages of working with groups. And also about layers and what exactly you can do with layers when you merge them and why it's not a good idea to merge them together. So that's it for this class, guys, and see you all in our next class.